Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and after the review bombing of Fallout 76, I had wondered if and when Bethesda would issue a response. Turns out they were pretty quick on it, and now we have a post via Bethesda Net highlighting some upcoming fixes happening with Fallout 76 before the end of this year. So I think folks who are maybe on the fence with this game, or those who plan on staying with Fallout 76, are going to be very happy with what Bethesda is bringing to the table. So I'll have this Bethesda Net post linked in the description down below, but now let's get right into it. It starts off with some PR speak. Since Fallout 76 opened to the world in beta and official launch, we've loved reading about your adventures and seeing your incredible photos from all over Appalachia. With launch day behind us, we're now looking toward the immediate future for Fallout 76 and what that means for both the short and long term. Before we get to new content and other additions, we want you to know that we have seen your feedback, taken note of your issues, and value the time you have taken to provide your thoughts and report problems. So, first and foremost, we have our first patch coming Monday, November 19th, and while this update has many performance fixes and optimization in it, we know some of your biggest requests, including an increased stash limit and several PC quality of life adjustments, are not included in this update. These features are coming in the next several weeks. Our plan is to update the game on a regular basis with patch notes that detail what we are addressing with each update. If that changes, we'll let folks know as things may shift as we need to balance adding features with server stability and maintenance. Following our post on Reddit, here's the latest on where we are with our next updates. So first, the November 19th patch, which I think is huge for a lot of folks. The next update will focus primarily on game performance and stability across all platforms, but will also come with a list of fixes to quests, UI, camps, and more. Patch notes will be available early next week. This update will be large compared to what we expect for patches going forward. Regular updates will always vary in size, but future updates should be much smaller in comparison. Next is the stash limit. We hear you loud and clear. We will be increasing the stash limit in the coming weeks. The current limit is there for technical reasons, to cap the number of items the game is tracking in the world, including every container and stash. We believe we have some ideas in both the short and long term that will address the size without risking stability, but this is one that we need to take our time on to make sure it is done right. Push to talk for PC. After listening to all of your concerns, we have made progress on getting this into the game, and it will also be included in an update in the next few weeks. Ultra-wide support for PC. 21.9 support will be coming soon. We have seen it in testing, and it looks awesome. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Fov Slider for PC. We know this is a popular request for our PC players. Look for an Fov slider soon. That is huge. Lastly is looking ahead to 2019. We teased in our launch letter some of what's to come next. In addition to constantly making fixes and changes, there will be some new content and game systems that add to the life and experiences in Appalachia. We'll see new vaults opening, new ways to easily improve your camps, ways to create, team up, and faction-based PvP, and many more free add-ons we haven't talked about yet. In addition, you will see articles each week that highlight new event, content, and features we're excited to share. We look forward to growing Fallout 76 with you. So I know some folks aren't huge on the whole plans for 2019 thing when the game really is incomplete at this point in time, but I feel like for those who are the hardcore fans who are sticking with Bethesda Game Studios absolutely no matter what, Bethesda's trying to throw a bone to them to let them know like, hey, we're still working on stuff despite all these fixes being there. And personally, as someone who wants to know what's happening in the long term, it's good just to have a general idea of what to expect. So weekly content being added to the game is something I'm very curious about, and with that being announced, I'm pretty sure you can just expect from me to cover that weekly content each time it rolls out, provided it's new and fresh enough. But let's talk about the most important thing, the November 19th patch. I am expecting when this update drops, since it's focusing primarily on game performance and stability across all platforms, this game needs to be running at a solid 30 frames per second on my PlayStation 4, my Xbox One, or whatever FPS I want on my freaking PC. Despite what chaos is happening on my screen, this game needs to run well, because overall, I've accepted some of its fundamental shortcomings in terms of mechanics like storytelling and whatnot, but these performance issues just get in the way and break what is there that is good about the game. So I'm very excited, albeit I wish it was there at launch, for this November 19th patch, and I hope that the game is finally going to be stable at this point in time. It's a shame that this is something I have to be excited for after the launch of the game, but I'll say this much, it came way sooner. Way sooner than I ever expected. So hopefully this is also a testament to Bethesda and how they said they wanted to use Bethesda.net to get updates out quicker. If that's the case, and we're going to get weekly content and we're going to continue to get these patches that fix issues immediately like Bethesda's doing here, where it hasn't even been a week and they're fixing the biggest issue with the game, I'm all for that, although Bethesda.net as a whole needs work. But stash limit increase, this is something that we've all discussed quite a bit, and I'm happy to see that they were very transparent about the issue, because I had a feeling it boiled down to the technicality, because if they could give us an unlimited stash, I feel they would have, but to track every player's items and have unlimited storage, that just doesn't seem feasible. I do appreciate the honesty that this will affect stability if they don't do it right, so that's probably why they didn't get right on top of it. I wonder how much they can genuinely increase it though in the short term to adjust for players like myself who are constantly at about 190 out of 240 weight in their inventory and their stash is entirely full, and I'm just scrapping pretty much everything I get, dropping excess ammo, dropping pretty much everything that I can't use in that very moment right there. I'm curious to see what Bethesda has planned for us. And that PC support, man, that's great, because a lot of PC players have been complaining about the lack of push to talk. That is something that should have been there day one. That is no excuse there, but I'm happy it's being added, because I'm sure a lot of PC players are tired of hearing people's families argue, the chewing of chips, and the list goes on of things you hear from that PC version, because it's not like on an Xbox One or a PS4 where you can just join a party by yourself and cut out all game chatter. You're forced to suffer the consequences on PC. Ultra rod support, I can't relate to all too much, but I'm glad that it's being put there. And then the Fov slider. I was just talking about this on the podcast, which you guys will see in the following day, but oh my goodness, when you have an energy weapon up in your face, it is horrible. I'm so happy for PC players that they're going to be able to pull it out. Overall, this is all great news for folks, and I'm glad that we know all this is coming, because they originally had said that they couldn't do an Fov slider because of how it would mess with certain animations, but I'm assuming that some PC players are willing to take the fall if it means they can zoom that field of view out a little bit more. Anyway, those are all the upcoming fixes happening before the end of this year, and then we have a little bit of information on 2019. I'm still crossing my fingers that Bethesda decides to add some type of Christmas content. I'd love to run around in a little Santa suit. That'd be dope, but who knows? Maybe my requests are falling on deaf ears here. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this patch, on the stash limit increase, the PC support, and the 2019 plans for Bethesda Game Studios. Are you happy? Is it too late? Does this change some of your thoughts? Are you going to wait and see? Let's say, hypothetically speaking, the game performance is much better. Does that change how you feel? Or maybe if the game performance is still pretty bad, where do you stand at that point in time? I'd love to hear all of those thoughts and more in the comments down below. Do fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that, as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.